Hello again, Bill Parrish here from Portland, Oregon. Today is January 30th, 2009. And of course, right now we're in the midst of a very significant financial dilemma. And as public leaders and people in industry try and put forth recommendations for solutions, I'd like to make an observation that public pensions are a prime driver in the wave of speculation, in particular short selling that's occurring in the markets. That's right, public pensions. I'd like to explain to you how the scheme works. This is the scheme. Public pensions, which are tax exempt, have large portfolios of securities, and what they're doing is lending their securities to hedge funds and private equity firms so that they can meet the ownership standards for purposes of doing short selling. Sound preposterous? Well, take a look at this PDF file, which came from the Oregon Investment Council's monthly meeting 2 days ago. In that meeting, the second agenda item is a securities lending update, and it was provided by Mike Mueller, Deputy Chief Investment Officer, and Tom Motley from State Street. So basically what's happening is the Oregon Public Pension System is lending its securities to State Street. And State Street is acting as an intermediary and passing those through to hedge funds and private equity firms. So to make a long story short, you've got two people owning the same security. Now, the short sell laws are very specific. They say that you have to have ownership to do certain types of transactions. So the question is, do these hedge and private equity funds really have ownership when they're simply borrowing the securities from the public pensions? Now you might ask, why do public pensions do this? Well, they got sold on the idea with the notion they could earn a few basis points a year. I mean, they might earn a 0.25% more in return by lending their securities, but of course the big fees are being earned by the intermediary, State Street, and these hedge and private equity firms. And think about it also. These public pensions have vast portfolios of securities, and so what you have is these private equity and hedge funds profiting on the very same securities that these public pensions own that they're lending to them. So the fix is simple, and this is what I would propose to the new SEC Chair, Mary Shapiro. Pass a law immediately that simply bans public pensions from lending their securities. I mean, if public pensions own the securities, they own the securities. They can't lend ownership of those securities through State Street to these private equity and hedge funds so that they can do these aggressive short sell bets on companies. It's a lot of these good companies are defenseless now to these short sellers. So that's the observation. And it also highlights again why Mary Shapiro's primary objective should be to get the registration of private equity and hedge funds immediately, with the Securities and Exchange Commission disclosing where they're based, what their top 25 holdings are, and how they're valued. And by doing that, we will inject a level of transparency that will really help right the financial system. So again, this isn't a complicated fix, this specific one I mentioned, it's a simple one. Public pensions should not be allowed to lend their securities to speculators who speculate on those very same securities they own. It's a dysfunctional system, and fundamentally, from a logical standpoint, you can't have two entities owning the same security at the same time. That should be illegal. Thank you for watching. My blog is referenced here with some additional observations on other topics. I will turn around the financial system, but we need some common sense injected into it. As a matter of disclosure, my clients, I'm an SEC registered investment advisor, and they've been at least 80, many 95% in U.S. Treasuries and short-term government money market since January of 2008 due to what we're seeing now in the financial system. So we'll get it turned around, but we got to inject some common sense, and common sense probably includes the notion that only one person can own a security at any particular point in time. Thanks for watching.